Thanks for tuning in to the Nindie Nation podcast, a weekly show dedicated to games for the Nintendo Switch brought to you by independent developers. I'm Jeff, and coming out of the wasteland himself is Josh.
Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Josh. We're here to walk you through the growing catalog of fantastic indie titles from the games and developers you already know and love to the hidden gems inside Nintendo's digital gaming paradise. We'll discuss what we're playing, what we think you should be playing, and in our second half, as always, we'll give you the full rundown of this week's Nindie sales and next week's new releases. But before we get too far, Josh, why don't you tell us about what has been keeping your Joy-Con synced this past week?
Well, you mentioned coming out of the wasteland, and that's right. I've been playing the little Wasteland 2 Director's Cut on my Switch.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
Yes, and this could technically fall in between the indie and AAA, but I'm counting it as an indie because it's perfect for that anyway, so... Yeah.
Why does it fall? Who was the developer?
In Exile Entertainment.
Okay.
And they published the game also, and this is actually was created by Brian Fargo, who's best known for the actual creating Fallout series. So this game takes that aesthetic and takes it into a new dimension of tactical role-playing. And yeah, this one is so deep. It's very difficult, but it's a lot of fun. I'd say it's somewhere, it plays like XCOM in a way, if you've ever played that top-down isometric tactical strategy, but then it also has like the scale of like the Witcher series.
How you mean, just like how big it is and everything?
Yeah, it's so large. Just the world map, how you move around, and then you get into the battles, and there's a lot of deep RPG mechanics like in the Witcher series. And then it has like the dystopian post-apocalyptic world like Fallout or Borderlands or something like that. You fight some really weird enemies.
Yeah. Well, because it looks like the original Fallout games, right? Before Bethesda bought them.
Right. This could be taken as like a direct sequel to like Fallout 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I think, wasn't the first Wasteland Kickstarter or something like that?
Yeah, the first one, Wasteland 2 I'm not sure about, but I know they had to kickstart number 1, and then it was so successful that they just went ahead with this.
Yeah, one of the early Kickstarter successes, I think.
Yeah. And it's been out on other consoles too, like year ago, 2 years ago maybe, and now it just made its way to the Switch this week. So it's if you're in the mood for like a deep tactical strategy RPG, like you can't play XCOM yet, this definitely scratches that itch.
So is it turn-based?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So each character gets their chance to move. It's in phases, so that you get to move your squad first, but then the enemies move all their people at one time too.
Got it.
And it's like I said, it's very deep. I will say the Switch version, I played the PS4 a little bit, then I've been going deep into the Switch version. There are the load screens are pretty horrendous. Like, I guess the optimization isn't always there.
Maybe
and then there is slowdown. Yeah, there is some slowdown.
But if it's turn-based, does the slowdown really impact gaming, or is it just more of a visual thing?
Yeah, it's more of a visual thing.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, it's very strategic, so you don't have to worry about action too much. But
you've been talking about it this week, so it must not be that big of a deal. You've been pretty excited about it.
Yeah. I'd have to. Like you said, if there's not many of these types of games on the Switch, so for anybody that's into that deep immersive RPG experience, I'd totally go for it.
Very cool.
Yep. Next, I've been playing. This is a smaller title that not many people have probably played, but they should. It's called In Between, and it's by Gently Mad Games, published by Head Up Games. And it's a puzzler, physics-based, where you push, very easy to control. You just push like right, and your character will stick onto the right side of a wall or up, and they'll stick on the ceiling. And yeah, it's very beautiful to look at. It has like this art aesthetic, very painterly, and it has a deep story. And it's about a guy that's going in between life and death, and you follow his story throughout the whole process. Like, there's flashbacks to him as a child and then going through life and then him in a wheelchair. And I was surprised by the depth of the story, how they deal with the levels of grief as you're
Hmm.
slowly passing away. So there's a lot more to it than just the puzzle mechanics. But as for the puzzles, it's really intense. They get really difficult. But if you're for a puzzle title, I definitely recommend checking this one out, as it's not too much to grasp, but it can still be difficult.
Yeah, I'm clicking around on I think it's the first 15 minutes. It looks really cinematic in the intros and the cutscenes and stuff.
It is, and then it has a clever buildup of like puzzle elements, and as you go through the environments, like different story segments come up, and it's just all flows together very well. It doesn't take you out of the experience, and the menus are really cool too, because it's like you're in like a lobby or like a video game room, and you click on what you need to get to, and it's pretty cool presentation wise. It really went all out with it.
That's really cool. Kind of related question. Um, do you play mini Switch games on your TV, or are you playing this? Because I was looking at it and I was like, it looks kind of small, but I was wondering, do you play most of your games handheld?
That's funny. I have not played on my TV in months.
Yeah.
I play just handheld most of the time, which I have that 8-bit Do controller that I'd like to use more, which is a great which everything that you praised about is awesome, but since I've been playing on the TV, I just haven't used it as much.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
and I think the only time that I've ever used not kickstand mode, but like had the Switch sitting in a dock and then sitting in a chair in front of it playing. I think the only times I've ever done that, I've used that controller, and that has been an awesome experience each time. Like I think I played most of the Bloodstained game like that. I played most
Oh, cool.
of Mighty Gunvolt Burst like that, just like sitting at my desk with the Switch kind of in front of me in a dock or in a stand and playing like that. It's a good way to use that controller still.
Yeah, I find that the screen's just too small when I have it away. Like I experimented with it, but
Yeah.
it just didn't work for me. Like I'd much rather just play handheld with it right in my face. But
Yeah. No, I hear you there, especially right now when I'm spending a lot of my couch time playing Spider-Man and my TV's taken up, I mean, I'm almost exclusively playing in handheld mode, but cool.
Or yeah, that's what I love about the Switch too. NFL Sundays, I can play on my Switch and watch NFL. So there's nothing better than that.
There you go. Yep.
So, and finally, this is from a recommendation from you, Freedom Planet, the Sonic like that you recommended.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm one game I can see about, and I'll just go ahead and check it out. And yeah, like you said, it reminds me of Sonic Mania.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over this with you a little bit, but yeah, just how the characters controlled. I've just played as the purple one. I forget name, but
the one,
yeah,
are you playing as the one that like runs up the walls, or there's one that has like a jetpack mechanic of some sort? What's like the main,
the one
like,
that
traversal thing?
that can like boost off, run up the walls, like you said, like you boost in the air, then it goes in any direction. It can like pinball around, and yeah, it's really
that
cool.
Mechanic
it takes
is
you back.
so confusing right at the beginning, but once you nail it, it's so much fun.
Yeah, and it opens up the levels just much more than any Sonic game ever did.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm not very far into it because I've been playing these other games, but yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out some more.
That game is really fun, and it feels like a labor of love. You can see how much the developers cared about all these little details. How would the Genesis handle this transition, or this, things like not particle effects, but you know what I mean, like explosions and things like that. So
well, Jeff, that was Freedom Planet, and yeah, go buy it, please. That wasn't completely awkward.
No, we didn't have to make an edit because an air conditioner turned on and got really loud or anything. In fact, I think it happened in the middle of the last sentence. So the listener will probably actually hear the air conditioner kick on and then hear, you know, whatever music we decided to put in there.
That's up to you to decide.
So yeah, good stuff this week. I want to touch on 3 games that I've been playing. First, in a weekly series of discussing The Messenger, I dove back in. I am at I really don't want to spoil where I'm at, but I'm pretty sure I'm at the big first goal that you're supposed to reach, where I think it's probably going to give me access to the 16-bit part of the game. And the game is joking about how hard it is. There's a character that talks. There's 2 characters actually that talk to you frequently throughout the game, and they're basically saying you're in this place and there's a great reward at the end, but good luck getting out. And then every time you die, they taunt you. Up to that point in the game, I had died 17 times. I turned it back on, and in the first checkpoint, I died 27 times. And I was like, man, I got a lot of other stuff to play. One thing I did notice, I really started digging the music, and I've been hard on it in the past. I really did enjoy the song. I didn't like hearing it start over from the beginning of the song 27 times, but I did enjoy it. I just hate that each of those times there was a loading screen and you had to go. It wasn't easy either. So I wasn't dying at the same part across 3 screens. I was dying at different parts because, you get frustrated and you try to rush the thing that you think you're already good at. And it was just tons of one-hit deaths. And in this area, there's spikes everywhere. And sometimes the spikes are 1-hit kills, and sometimes they are not. Sometimes it's 2 hits. So anyways, it got really frustrating. And as I was playing through it, I thought to myself, is this the last time I play The Messenger? I don't know. So...
And you still haven't made it to the 16-bit part?
No.
That's insane. I thought you were going to have this, I had this
epiphany.
Revelation. It's the best game ever.
Now, I will be completely honest here. I was sitting there 2 nights ago, I think, at like 10:58 p.m. Eastern, and I looked up at the clock and I was like, it's 11 o'clock. Nintendo Switch Online NES Classic is live now. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to go play that. so I probably would have stuck with it for a few more minutes, and I'll probably go back and play again, but for the time being, that game might be on an indefinite hiatus, and nobody has reached out to say I'm crazy. So, I really do want to see the 16-bit part, though,
Right. That's when it's supposed to get really good, so hopefully you get another chance.
Yeah, we'll see. So the 2 new games that I played this week, both very, very different games, both appeal to different people. The first one was an 89-cent game. I'm going to have to check and make sure it's still that cheap. The game is called Sparkle 3 Genesis. Let me ask you this, Josh. Did you ever play Flow, the game that was created before Flower on PS3 and then PS4 and Vita?
No, I just play the Flower.
Okay. Imagine Flower, but top down. You're just moving across a 2D plane that looks like Geometry Wars or Asteroids or something like that. And then as you complete objectives on that plane, you find like a little whirlpool that makes you go up or down or something like that. By the way, this game is developed by Forever Entertainment, and they've made, this is the 3rd one. They've made lots of games like this. So you're this little organism, like an amoeba or something, that just swims around on a 2D plane. You're looking down at it, and you eat things by running over them, and you get a little bigger, and then you can eat a little bit bigger thing.
What was that game where you started off as like a little cell microorganism that was notoriously popular?
Agario, the browser-based game?
No, I'm thinking of something else. It was supposed to be like the Spore.
Spore?
Is it sort of like that in a sense? But rhythm-based more?
No, not really. I mean, you are put down, and sometimes the X button or B button, sometimes that one button will operate one of 3 special abilities that it's either like a dash or something like that. Other than that, you are literally steering the thumbstick around, getting your little thing to run into smaller things so that you can become a bigger thing.
Oh, so you're a sperm.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, one that would eat and turn into larger sperms, which and I'll be clear,
Okay.
if this game is about a growing sperm, I have yet to see the final boss, but I would I would love to see. It's like, what is this wall? You just keep ramming it over and over again.
What is this magic?
What is this game? This isn't a E for everyone.
Oh,
So the game, what does it have? It's got Metacritic on Switch of about 50%, up to 60%. It's even on, it can be played with touchscreen as well. It's a mobile game. I make no qualms about it. This is like a 5 out of 10 game. It's not that great, but the music's pretty good. It's super chill. And I bought it for $1, and like I'm I'll put it this way, I'll go back and play that more before I'll go back and play The Messenger. And like,
whoa! You heard it here.
I mean, it's just, you know exactly what you're getting into, and it's just chill.
You
It's
would
kind of
just
fun.
play a sperm before playing a ninja.
So that's Sperm Simulator 3 for the Nintendo Switch. And so it's fun. I mean, I probably spent more time on that game than I need to, but it was 99 cents. I don't know if it'll still be on sale by the time we publish this, but if so, and you want something that's totally mindless that you can play while you're sitting on the couch watching football, it's pretty fun.
No,
I mean,
that's what we need, more of those casual experiences like Roco Loco and
yeah,
stuff like
exactly. It is absolutely in that vein of just one of those time waster. It's almost like therapeutic. You know, you're just like watching yourself
that.
pick up
Sure.
these little things and clearing off the screen, and then the music changes and you get a little cool transition effect. It's not ugly looking either. I mean, it's kind of pretty. So that's Sparkle 3 Genesis by Forever Entertainment. And then I was asking the community. I feel like a jerk for saying this. I asked the community if I should finally dive into Hollow Knight or if I should try Magic Hat, and we got about an even amount of responses for both. And I just kind of said, you know what, I'm gonna just do something different. But thanks for your input.
Thanks for nothing.
I really do appreciate
community.
Your input. And but I forgot that Old School Musical came out. Old School Musical is made by, it's a French name, La Moutarde.
That sounded more Japanese.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
You made it sound.
I'm gonna put it into like an auto-generated voice thing. So like have a computer butcher the pronunciation, and I'm gonna put that audio file of the name of the developer right here.
La moutarde
is French for the mustard, and I am a talking computer.
Smart.
There we go. Another excuse to make a stupid edit in the middle. But Old School Musical is awesome. It is so much fun. Anybody that played the DS game Elite Beat Agents, that it's very similar to that. It is a music rhythm-based game, and as you play it, icons come in from the top, bottom, left, or right. Almost like God of War 3's QuickTime events, if you remember those, where like you'd see the buttons in the four corners. The icons for the different face buttons will come in from the sides of the screen, and you push them in rhythm with the music. And sometimes they go really fast, sometimes you have to hold on them, sometimes you push multiple buttons at once. And then when there are certain situations, the game will switch, and you will be doing the same thing with the L and R buttons. Let me look at my Switch. The L and R buttons, not the ZLZR, so the long skinny ones at the very top. And when you're doing those and you're using your index fingers, it plays like a drum, like you're playing like do do cha do 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 cha do 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 cha, and it's really fun.
Huh.
The music is amazing chiptune music, and here's the kicker. The entire time you're playing, it is telling an incredibly detailed, perfectly rendered, charming as hell recreation of like walking through every classic 8-bit game ever made. Like
That's really cool.
And it is like, it's like it's this development studio's rendition. You see a level of Mega Man and then a Mega Man boss, and then you see them go through the Ninja Turtles NES game and the original Metal Gear, but they're all, it's like as close as you can get without copyright infringement, because it's parody.
Right.
And it's just quirky, and it's funny, and it's got a great sense of humor. The music is awesome, and it's got multiple difficulty levels, and I just love it. I think it was $12.99, and if you like music games, or if you love the charm of retro 8-bit games, I loved it, and I'm going to play the mess out of it continuing. And for the record, it will absolutely be music from Old School Musical that is throughout today's episode.
Yes.
I mean,
this looks really cool. Sort of reminds me of the Video Kid from what I played last week, only this looks better. Like, more polish. Like you said, we don't have too many rhythm action games for this, so that's perfect.
I think my only criticism of it is that I have the same criticism of all of the Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi games, is that it's really chatty, like really, 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 really chatty. You will spend just as much time, if not more, in cutscenes as you will in the game, but you can skip everything. So, problem solved. That's a complaint I have, and if I want to jump right into the game, that's easy.
Sweet.
So
sounds good.
Yeah, awesome stuff this week. I really, really enjoy both of those games, and we'll continue to go back to them. All right, so hopefully I can still play those games, but we know that we've always got a lot of big stuff up on the horizon. So, Josh, let's talk about what's coming out on the eShop next week.
Funny you should ask, because one of my favorite games that I played on the PS Vita is out now for the Switch, and that's Risk of Rain from Hapu Games. And this is a roguelike, as many of these titles are, but this one is more immersive and just all-out fun, and just the combinations of skills that you get for each playthrough, it's completely randomized. So like a 2D Binding of Isaac, only more pixelated. And the only thing I didn't care about was how small the character was, which was a complaint for many people. But once you get playing, it really doesn't become much of an issue. So this one becomes highly recommended for me anyway.
So it looks kind of like Dead Cells.
Yeah, it doesn't play like Dead Cells. It's not as polished as, say, a Dead Cells, but there's just a lot more variety and different power-ups and abilities you gain throughout, passive and skills that you can use, and it gets very crazy later on. The stuff you get, it's more like a less refined Dead Cells.
So, and it looks, I'm just looking at screenshots, it looks like it might be a little bit more like shooty versus melee, because Dead Cells is very melee focused. So does it play like a twin stick? Like how do you shoot and aim and stuff like that?
No, there's a button that you can push to stay in place and shoot, and then as you move, you can also move and shoot in any direction. And mixture of both. It has the twin stick shooting mechanics too as you go around. So, it's a cool game. I recommend it for anybody. And it's only $10 also.
Am I seeing this correctly, that I just did a quick Google image search for it, but it looks like they're working on a sequel, and the sequel is the same game but in third person 3D.
Oh, I haven't researched that at all, but I'd be all for that.
And it's got like the exact it's almost like they took the art style of the first one and turned it into like 3D cell shaded. Like the colors and everything look the exact same, but
that's really cool.
Honestly, the images from this sequel look so cool, it almost looks like it's fake.
I haven't even heard of it, number 2, but yeah, I'll take more of anything of Risk of Rain. So,
I had heard about this game, but I had no idea what it was. This looks really cool, man.
All right, well, there's your game to buy this week.
Man, I had already picked my game to buy this week, and we haven't even gotten there yet.
Oh, you might be thinking of Velocity 2X.
No, I'm not even thinking of Velocity 2X.
But that is also what is out now from Future Lab, and we went over this a little bit last week, but for a mixture of vertical shooter and 2D side-scrolling action, it's pretty awesome. It takes the best of both those types of gameplay elements and high score chasing, time trial. It has it all. So
Yeah, and this is the one that we had mentioned. The developers, well, the studio heads at Future Lab have been in lots of interviews recently. They're kind of using their marketing tour with releasing this game on Switch as a way to say, hey, if we don't sell enough of Velocity 2X on the Switch, there's a good chance that series is dead, or, you know, something to that effect. So, very good game.
every
Yeah.
every game that comes to Switch as an indie experience usually sells better than if it was on any other console. So I'm not too worried about that, really. Even if it's the game that's a year old.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool, though, if we were able to see in, 2 months, we see another story about Velocity 2X, and just because there's that pretense of the developers talking about it, that we could see a sequel announced or something like that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Next, we have Debris Infinity.
Yeah, and I
Right.
looked at this one by SVC Games. This one looks like Geometry Wars, or
Yeah, just like Geometry Wars. With crazy color effects, bullet hell shooter, neon lights everywhere,
yep,
action.
just like
That looks really cool.
asteroids on an acid trip.
Yeah.
That looks really cool. That,
So if
I
you want
believe,
your-
is the game I might buy this week.
Okay. And it's only $4.99, so
Exactly.
might as well take the plunge. And we have The Escapist from Team 17. This is sort of one of those that just came out of nowhere. But this is another one of those deep strategy games that looks simple at first, but there is a lot going on as far as how you can escape from a prison. I've never played The Escapist 1 or 2, but I played The Escapist The Walking Dead, which is like a slimmed down version of that, and it's pretty cool.
Like
I
they
like the art
reskinned
aesthetic.
the game to make it in line with the TV show or comic,
right,
or what?
It goes along with the TV show, like the first 2 seasons, like beat to beat. Like crawling through an air duct, you have to find a way to gather the material to get up there and then unhatch the thing. It's very, very deep, and so if you're not into titles that require a lot of thought as far as figuring out ways to get around, then this probably isn't for you. But there's a lot of gameplay here if you're willing to put the time in.
Question, do you have to hear the game? I was thinking about this earlier today because there's a lot of indie games that I will try out because I have 10 minutes and I'm, on a call or sitting with my family and I don't want to disturb people. But when I was playing Old School Musical today, I was like, oh, I kind of need the sound on for a music game.
Maybe for that. I think this is one that you could just casually play, but
Okay.
there are tones that might indicate like you need to get back to your cell
Right.
in time or stuff like that. But usually I think you could casually play it, but it's also deep enough that you need to think about ways to escape from prison. So
Okay.
it's cool. And finally, we have A Gummy's Tale, which is out now from EP Games. And I don't know much about this one, but Jeff, you
Googling
put it on
it.
the list.
But Jeff is Googling
Oh
it.
my.
So this game came out on Steam last February, it looks like, in 2017. And
It's a Gummy's Tale.
it looks like Gang Beasts. Is that the game where like the weird looking stick figure blobs beat each other up and knock each other off the field?
And you try to throw each other
Yeah.
off and all that good stuff. Yeah.
If you had shown me this game, I would have said, "Oh, that's Gang Beasts." Like it's exactly the same.
Oh. Those I have Game Beast, and that was a really just laugh out loud fun type of game where that my kids and we just had fun just messing around and trying to throw these people off buildings and stuff.
And I've seen a handful of levels, and I know that game was early access for a while, but so I don't know if it got as deep, but a lot of these levels look like there's a lot going on. Like there's one of them's on a soccer field, and I see like a boxing ring, and there's like spinning tops and amusement park rides and all kinds of floors falling. So the levels look a lot more involved and interactive.
Now, that sounds just like Game Beast then. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you got that, and Game Beasts is on the Switch, isn't it? That came out not too long ago.
No, I played on the PS4. I've never seen it on the Switch, but it's probably a game that could easily come to this, or maybe this is the version that they just released for it.
Could be. Good. Lots of good stuff coming out this week, but we've also got a big drop of games coming out on September 25th. Let's hit a couple of these. I'm going to pull up the first one. So take a look at This Is the Police 2, because you played the first one, right?
Right. And it was a title that surprised me. I actually enjoy some of the mechanics of it. It's more strategy based, like certain scenarios come up and then you have a team. You're the head chief of a police district and you have your cops that you hire, and certain ones are better at, say, like busting drug deals or combat, while others are more intuitive and can talk their way out of certain situations. There isn't much gameplay to talk about. It's more situations like you have your squad, and it's not. There's really no action to speak of. You just send them in, and then they go out on their task, and then they're either successful or they're not, depending on how well you prepared for it.
So it's like a resource simulator kind of thing.
In a way, yeah. Like you can put certain resources into funding, trying to get more funding for the police department. If you don't have enough, it'll make it hard to, or if you don't have enough cops on the job at certain times, late night shift or morning shift, then it might be harder to like get to all the trouble spots because certain things happen, whether it's someone stealing something, you have to send someone out there, and then someone may have their cat stuck in a tree, you gotta send one there. So yeah, and then if it's like a hostage situation, then you have to have special units that go out there and monitor what they're able to do. You can't just send regular cops because they'll probably be gunned down, and the hostages will die. So, and then at the end of each day, you're graded on how well you performed. Like if you do really bad, then you'll get a bad headline in the newspaper. This chief that can't do anything right. Or if you're successful, chief saves the day and stuff like that.
That sounds neat.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I was surprised about the depth of it.
Sounds very unique. The one that I wanted to touch on that is also coming out next week is published by Square Enix in Europe, but I believe it's part of their indie label because the developer is Titutetech, which is a fun name. And the game is called Oh My Godheads. And it is described as fast, frenetic, capture the head mayhem. And it looks like a multiplayer party game. Let's let the developer describe it. Grab 11 godheads with their own game-changing abilities such as explosions, mind control, and freeze. Who can say no to a penguin with a top hat, monocle, and smoking pipe? Meet 9 curious characters.
That's like the drop that Colin Moravy reads every week. It's like, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah, what is this even? So that's Oh My Godheads.
I didn't know that was from Square Enix, though.
Well, again, it specifies on the developer page that it's Square Enix Europe, and so I do think they have an indie label that's going out, kind of like how Ubisoft did cool. that one, and EA is doing the originals. They're getting funding from these large publishers, but otherwise they are indie studios building an indie game, and I think those count as something that we should cover. Yeah,
I agree with that. Here's a game that I will have updated impressions on next week. This is called Think of the children from Fellow Traveler Games. And the little bit I played of this is out of control bonkers. Like a concept that you wouldn't think would work very well, but sort of like this, as you mentioned, The Sims, but based on having children, like 6 or 8 crazy children just running amok among these situations that you wouldn't usually find yourself in. Like if you're by a beach and you're grilling out and the grill catches on fire, the children try to play with it or try to get a coconut from a tree, and then you have a certain amount of time to save them from these dangers, or swimming in the ocean, eating like a shark. And the little bit I play, it's funny because it's very cartoony, like it's not graphic at all, but it's just like their little ghosts. Like if someone, like a kid, buries his head in the sand and suffocates, like a little ghost just sprouts up. A skull and crossbones come over where the child was.
Oh no! I can see the Fox News headline now. Nintendo releases child murdering simulator.
Child murder simulation. But yeah, it's cute. It's a lot of fun. Like you have certain abilities you can use to try to gather them together or buy ice cream to keep them out of trouble. And yeah, I haven't played too much, but I'll probably talk about that some more next week.
That's kind of like, when you look at the screenshots, it looks like The Sims. It's got that top down, even the art style looks just like The Sims. But it sounds like it's almost more like Lemmings from back in the day. Like you have these little brainless creatures that will fall to their death unless you hold their
And we know
hand.
our kids are brainless creatures.
Right, yeah, pretty much. I mean, you learn what things can't be put in mouths because everything will be put in a mouth. And you start to look at, you walk around your house and you're like, that countertop is forehead height. It will have an injury if there is not protective gear applied. You start learning that stuff.
Make sure that the cabinet is locked of knives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So speaking of which, are you doing, do you do things before the scenario starts? Like, can you child-proof things, or is it more like you go and you're all reactive?
So as soon as the match starts, you have a list of goals that you have to achieve. Like, say you're at the beach, maybe you have to flip like 4 burgers, and you have to set up like the towel and the umbrella. Then you have to like suntan this guy or else he'll get burned. It's very silly.
So you have to keep everybody alive while you're also accomplishing everyday parent
Yeah, it has
tasks.
an overcooked, like vibe. And the few times I played, it's very hard. Like you have to it's graded on an F through A scale, and like the highest grade I got was like a C-, and that's what you can do to move on.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
Yeah, it's very hard. I'm gonna try to play it over the weekend with Eli and Titus, maybe. So maybe it'll be easier if there's more parents to corral in the children, or maybe they'll make it harder
play as parents.
Yes. Then maybe they'll have a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to play it, and all of their kids are going to just die horrific deaths, and they're going to be like, oh, this is hard what you do, And it's like, boom, game of the year.
You have a new appreciation, yeah.
So go clean your room.
Yes. Empty the dishwasher.
Yes, something.
And we have My Brother Rabbit from Artifex Mundi. And this game, I like it too. There's a great band named Artifex Pariah that you should check out. That off topic, I digress. This game is, it looks like, it has a cool art style to it. It looks like a point and click adventure, but maybe some puzzle mechanics in it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this one a couple of weeks ago, like when it first popped up on the coming soon. So it's out now.
Yeah. It looks pretty neat though.
Yeah, you like the point and click games. You think you might try this one out?
There's been a nice renaissance of them. I've been pretty busy, but maybe if it happens to land in my lap, I'll play it. So,
do you find that the point and click games on the Switch typically support the touch screen?
It's a nice, I'd say 50%. I always prefer the ones that do though. Yeah. There was one that I played recently that didn't. But it was nice because you can move the character around with the sticks.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's always nice, and then you can always highlight where the action points are, which is always helpful too. So I don't like just going in blindly and having to randomly search around for stuff. It's nice when they give you the option because some of the ones I played, like they go back to the classics of Monkey Island, where they're just ridiculous concepts of combining items that you would never think to use. And
Yep, nothing like a video game to make you feel stupid.
yeah, what good are video games?
Speaking of games making you feel stupid, anyways, there's also a game coming out.
What are you trying to get at here?
I have no idea. I was trying to transition. There's also Snake versus Snake coming out next week. And it is like exactly what it says. Like it sounds like the games that only 90s kids remember playing Snake on your Nokia mobile phone. It seems like that. It's Snake. You're crawling around. You know what? I'm not going to explain Snake to anybody. It's that.
It's
but
very
multiplayer.
cheap too, and yeah, like you said, it has a multiplayer component, so that might add some great replay value to it.
Indeed. Anything else coming out next week that we didn't hit on?
Let's talk about Ultimate Chicken Horse here.
The weekly chicken game.
Yes, another chicken game, and this one is from Clever Endeavor Games, and it looks like it features a nice comic or cute art style. I was about to say comic. This has nothing to do with comics. But it looks like you take different physics based, so you're building like traps or trying to get a certain animal through this dangerous zone by placing objects and having them go. I can't tell if you control them or if they just go at their own peril, but yeah, it looks like fun from what I can tell. So
I think I've seen this game. I think I've seen maybe PewDiePie and some of the other big Twitch and YouTube sensation people playing this game before. And yeah, it's like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I can't remember, like you said, if you're placing traps and helping guide a character, or if it's like you're actually like Mario Maker levels where you're just trying to get through an impossible level.
Like I said, it looks like more that they auto run and then you have to place everything in place just to get them through the hazards. That's what it reminds me of. It has online and local co-op for up to 4 players.
Oh, and it's got crossplay with the PC. So that,
Cool,
if this is the game I'm thinking of, that, could really help this game get some steam. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's Ultimate Chicken Horse, and those are our highlights for September 25th.
Awesome.
Coming out next week.
Good stuff. Which one do you think is the must play on there? Risk of Rain?
Yeah, for out now, yes, that came out the 18th. Risk of Rain, or this is the 20th. Risk of Rain is definitely the highlight, but yeah. I would also check your eye on This Is the Police 2 and then Velocity 2X. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So.
I wanna try out Think of the Children. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, I will say right now it is very frustratingly hard.
Yeah.
But I think that might be the point of it. So, because we know how hard it is to raise children.
Indeed it is. And you know what else is hard about children? How much money they cost. And that's why it is important to buy your Nintendo Switch Nindies when they are on sale. So let's talk about what's on sale this week.
This week, we have the last week of the Atui sale, which expires on the 25th. So this might be over by the time you listen to this, but if it's not, this is your great chance to get Super Mutant Muds and all their other great games at half off. And it's really worth it.
And also, friend of the show, developers for Kid Trip and Miles and Kilo. Those are both 25% off. So Kid Trip is $2.99 and Miles and Kilo is $5.99. And you've heard us say it before, but we recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. You might as well for $2.99. Oceanhorn is 33% off from $14.99 to $9.99. And if you want a classic top-down Zelda-like clone, this is about as good as you're going to get, and it is fun.
Did you Semispheres is on sale, half off, $5 instead of 10? And did you play that one? Did you play Semispheres?
That sounds so familiar. I can't remember.
We play a lot of these games.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool though from the screenshots. Like you control. I don't know.
Its icon looks like a brain. Let's see.
No, so I remember someone else. I was going to cover this, then someone else did. So I'm not the guy to ask for that. But it's a good game from what I can tell.
Yeah, it's very, very trippy visual style, like very, it looks like lots of neon colors and stuff. Looks really neat. It's a puzzle platformer. So
next we have Velocity 2X, which we've been covered in depth this episode, but it's 20% off at $15.99. So that's probably the game you want to buy this week if you want to get it on sale.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wizard of Legend. This is one I've had my eye on. It's only 15% off from $15.99 to $13.59, but it might be the time to buy it because I've heard very good things about this game.
Same here, and I think that one's been in my wish list for quite some time. I'm pretty sure I've seen it for a little bit cheaper than that a couple of times. I think it was recently 40% off, so keep that in mind. There it might not be the best deal, but it looks like a good one. I also see The Way Remastered is 80% off. It's down from $15 to $3. Have you ever played that game?
Yeah, it's not very good because it's just very archaic.
Here first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but yeah, it's just sort of lackluster. I mean, it's cool in concept, but it has a lot of that archaic design from older games. So not in the positive way either.
Right. And you had played Immortal Redneck, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that one?
Where was
that the 90s style first-person shooter?
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter in the vein of Mad Max. There's a lot of upgradable skills you can do. It's actually really fun, and it controls really well. I played it on the PS4, but I'm sure it's about the same on the Switch.
Yeah.
Plus, you can take it on the go, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's $13.99, 30% off.
Yeah, so that I recommend that. We talked about Hacky Zack. That's 50% off at $4.99.
The last one that I saw, we had talked about Airmail a couple of times by Infusion. I think we talked about it when it was about to come out. And it is for original Xbox fans, it looks like Crimson Skies. It's like the classic, what do you call that? A biplane, or, just like the older in the days of blimps and stuff type of plane that you're flying around. The game looks gorgeous. It looks really, really pretty.
Man, it looks really cool.
I didn't realize it when I was building some of the lists for today. The game has an 85% on Metacritic. That's really good. Yeah.
That's really good.
So it's 20% off this week for $12, but it looks like I don't know if there's dogfighting in it. It might just be flying around, but
yeah, I don't see a lot of shooting or anything, but I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
actually,
it looks really good. So that might be one to keep around. That's something we don't really have many flying or that kind of game on the Switch. So could be one
until Starlink comes out. Yeah,
true. Yeah, maybe that's why they released when they did, because that's coming out soon, and that will suck up a lot of oxygen.
With Star Fox, yeah, no doubt.
Very much looking forward to that. I hope we get more puppet videos for the Star Fox characters. I always like it when Nintendo does those. But if you can't find videos of Star Fox right now on YouTube, you can at least watch a video of our logo while you listen to our weekly podcast on our YouTube channel at YouTube. Actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Eric Thompson here because he told me that youtube.com/Nindie Nation will actually not go to our channel because we have to have a certain amount of subscribers first until we get the vanity URL. So
wow, so subscribe.
So like, subscribe, share, smash that bell notification and all the stuff YouTubers say. But please check us out on YouTube. You can Google it. We're Nindie Nation on YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter. I'm at Nindie Jeff. Josh is at _the_Brant, and we are at Nindie Nation. We have a great Facebook page and Facebook group. I would love to see you drop in and join us and talk about some Nindies for a little bit. And if you're looking for other great Nintendo content, we're a part of Nintendo Village. Tell them about that, Josh.
Yes, this is a great site that we're hosted through that features a lot of different reviews, previews, plus other great shows. Mouse Bites, as I talked to Steph with about Mickey Mouse World of Illusion. I really want to play that game again. And they have a cool show called Mouse Bites that is dedicated to old Disney properties where they go in depth with them. And so, yeah, go over there and give a shout out and listen to all their great shows.
Cool. Well, until then, thanks for joining us for another week diving through the digital gaming paradise that is the Switch and the eShop and Nindies. Thank you so much, and we look forward to chatting more about Nindies next week. Until then,
Sync up.
Sync up. Oh!